In this series, we'll take a look at essential jazz scales that you should know for improvisation, how to practice them, why they're useful, and how to use them over chord progressions. So let's start with Dorian, but before we do, I want to take a second to announce that we've selected a winner for our recent giveaway. So be sure to stick around until the end of the video to find out who the winner is, as well as some other awesome news for all of you guys. Thanks to all of you who commented and participated in this giveaway. We really appreciate the engagement. So, Dorian is the second mode of the major scale. So if we start any major scale on the second degree, we get a Dorian scale. For example, D Dorian is the second mode of C major, also known as C Ionian. F Dorian is the second mode of E flat major. So if you know all your major scales, you know all your Dorian scales. You just need to start on the second degree of that major scale. So in step one, we're going to play the major scale and then the related Dorian scale. A useful variation of this step is to understand where the half steps are within the Dorian scale and play all the Dorian scales without considering the related major scale. The formula for Dorian is whole, half, whole, 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 half, whole. And the scale degrees are 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, 6, and flat 7. So here's step 2. Play all Dorian scales by thinking of where the half steps are and the degrees that you're playing. Okay, so where can we use the Dorian scale? If we stack notes from the Dorian scale by thirds, we get a minor 7, 9, 11, and 13 chord. So this scale is ideal for related 2 chords. Related 2 chords are minor 7 chords that are followed by the related 5 chord. For example, in a D minor 7 G progression, D minor 7 is the related 2 chord of the G7 chord because D minor 7 to G is a 2-5. But not all minor 7 chords are good candidates for the Dorian scale. In the progression C major 7, A minor 7, D minor 7, G7, the A minor 7 does not want to be paired with the Dorian scale. And that's because A minor Dorian contains an F sharp, which is not part of the C major scale. And of course, A minor 7 is not part of a 2-5. Another possible use of the Dorian scale on minor 7 chords is on modal tunes, like in Record Me. In this case, the A minor 7 pairs well with the Dorian scale. You can even see how the F sharp is part of the melody under the A minor 7 chord. It's also worth noting that the 13 in a Dorian is a tricky note to use on a minor 7 chord, acting as related to, that is. And that's because the 13 creates a tritone with the flat 3 of the chord. In a D minor 7, the 13th is B, and the flat 3 is F. These two notes create a tritone, F to B, which is exactly what the 5 chord, G7, uses to create tension. That doesn't happen in a modal context, as I've shown you before in Record Me. So in step 3, I want you to play the Dorian scale in thirds like this. Notice how we're arpeggiating the minor 7 chord, and then we introduce tensions 9 and 11, and finally tension 13. Pay attention at how tension 13 sounds in this minor 7 context. It turns the sound of the minor 7 into a Dorian modal sound. The last 3 steps are more about lines using the Dorian scale in a 2-5 progression. Step 4, we play an arpeggio with the 9th as an approach tone, and we end up landing on the 9th, which is the 13th of the 5 chord. Step 5, we turn the Dorian scale into a bebop scale using a chromatic passing tone. Start on the root of the scale and use the major 7 as a passing tone between the root and the flat 7. The cool thing about the bebop scale is that all the chord tones from the minor 7 chord are played on the downbeats, while the rest of the notes from the Dorian scale are used as passing tones. Step 6. We're going to add 2 chromatic passing tones, which allows us to start on the 9th of the Dorian scale. As always, all of our exclusive access members will get a PDF with today's topic. If you're not a member yet, you can join by clicking on the Join button or the link provided down below. Remember, if you want to access all of our previous content, you can check out our Music Theory Journal, which is basically just an almanac of all the content we've published for our members to this point. And so now for the moment you've all been waiting for, the announcement of our giveaway winner. Congratulations to @DanChernowMusic and Transcribe483. Dan will be receiving 4 of our courses and an entire year of Music Theory Journal. So Mr. Dan, be on the lookout for our email. And for those of you who didn't win, don't worry, because as of right now, our entire catalog is being massively discounted, up to 50%. So if you've been on the fence about any of our books, courses, or apps, now is the time to pull the trigger. Visit mdex.com right now to take advantage of this huge sale. That's going to do it for today's topic of the Dorian scale. Be on the lookout in the future for more content and other skills that you can use for jazz improvisation. YouTube seems to think you're going to like one of these 2 videos here, so please stick around and check one of those out. It'll really help us out. Thanks for watching.